Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another super cool radio interview. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have an awesome guest who I'm excited to have on the podcast. The band MEGG released their latest single entitled IDC last month. Please welcome MEGG.
Hello.
Awesome to have you on the podcast. I'm excited to chat with you. I love the latest single, IDC, so I'm excited to have you on the podcast.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So before we dive into IDC and everything going on, I did want to discuss Warped Tour. How was that?
It was crazy. It was everything I hoped it would be and more. Yeah, man, it was a pretty surreal dream come true, very validating, very fun. Yeah, man, I don't know. It was surreal all the way around. I wish I could do it every weekend for the rest of my life.
I totally get it. I saw some videos and photos from obviously Warped Tour with you, and it looked like such a fun time. You look like you were just having like so much fun, and I could definitely see that coming through. But I'm kind of curious. So with that, like when you first started out as a musician, did you see yourself playing Warped Tour?
I mean, that was definitely like the goal, right? I grew up going to this festival and watching some of my favorite bands and artists play and discovering some of my new favorite bands play. So it was always like a dream of mine to play the festival, but obviously they stopped it, 6 or 7 years ago. So I kind of thought that was just like a dream that was never gonna come to fruition. But then when there was a rumor going around that they were bringing it back, I was like, all right, I'm getting on that fucking bill some way, somehow.
Well, right on. Well, I'm glad everything worked out, that you were able to play at Warped Tour. So looked like an awesome time, and I'm very happy for you and the band for that amazing opportunity.
Thank you.
But I did want to focus. So obviously IDC, as I said, released back in July. So if anyone has not checked this out, haven't listened to it, what can they expect?
I would say it's a very clear look into who I am as a person and as an artist. It's very in your face and confident and rebellious, but also really fun and welcoming and relatable. It's kind of like a proclamation of how I feel about just all the crap that's going on. There's a lot to digest as a person right now, but also as a musician. And so this was just one of those songs that was just like, this is exactly who I am, take it or leave it. And at the same time, it's just like it's a really fucking fun song.
Oh, for sure. It's got some attitude to it, and I really like that part. It just really just embodies, I think a lot how people are feeling, especially nowadays with certain things, certain aspects of life right now. So it resonated with me because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I just like the attitude, and just it's very catchy as well.
Thank you.
So like kind of curious of going along with that. So like what was like the writing and recording process for IDC?
There was actually a really different process for this song. It happened, I wrote it with Brian White and Sophie Shreds, two incredible writers and artists in their own right. It was my first time going to the 30A Songwriters Festival in Florida. And 507 Publishing took a handful of writers and artists out to this like beach house in Florida, which was wild. And essentially we were writing for sync and for pitch. So we would get into a different room each day with different writers. It was my first time meeting Brian, my second time writing with Sophie. And I want to say this was one of the days closer to the end of the week. We had been writing like a bunch of K-pop, J-pop, commercial stuff, jingles, pop stuff, country stuff. And we kind of just got in the room and decided that we wanted to write for my project. They were super into some of the stuff that I had released and kind of wanted to write more in that vein. And I was like, honestly, like I don't usually like writing for my project with people that I don't know well and don't know me well. It's kind of prior to this had this weird idea that like, if someone doesn't know me, how can they contribute to my music? I feel like my music is very personal and it's very much about my way of life, who I am as a person, my upbringing, my community, all of that. And that session proved me wrong in like the first 30 seconds. Just like Brian came up with that guitar progression. And then I feel like I was just kind of like spitballing into the mic. And the lyrics just like happened so fast. I feel like we wrote the song in like 20 minutes. They just were so in tune to the vision, and the three of us just like, it was a very magical session.
Well, right. It sounds very, very cool, very unique, writing session with all of that. So kind of curious. So like with that writing session, did that kind of change your kind of mindset on like songwriting?
I would say so. Yeah. Cause like I usually write with the same 4 people, and we've been like best friends for over 15 years. So this was a very different session, writing with people I didn't know very well, who didn't know me very well. And then to produce a song that feels the most like me was like incredibly eye-opening and also like humbling. It was kind of like, okay, it's okay to go out of your comfort zone. It's okay to write with other people and trust other people that you don't really know. And also too, like just giving into where the song wants to go. Because I was wearing a Say Anything sweatshirt on the first night of the writing camp. And Brian was like, no fucking way, you like Say Anything? And I was like, yeah. So we talked about Is a Real Boy, and we like went and like categorized which songs we thought were the best on that album, like top to bottom, whatever. I feel like Say Anything fans, it's like kind of culty. Like if you fuck with Say Anything, it's like kind of feels special when you meet another person who does as well. And so that was kind of like a little connection there. So when we were in the session, he had kind of come up with this other progression that I wasn't super into. And I love that instead of there being like a weird vibe about that, it just was like, okay, cool, let's start from scratch and like completely start over. There was no ego in the room. There was no, but my idea, or it was just like, we were just there for the song. And I think it was a really cool experience to be in a room with people that I didn't know, who didn't really know me, and watch like the death of egos. Like, no, I don't know how to describe it. It just was like, it felt really cool to not have to sugarcoat with new people. And it was like, I don't really like that idea. And it was like, all right, cool. Yeah, no. Or what about this? Like, oh, I don't really like that. What about this? Oh yeah, that's fucking sick. Like, let's follow that train. So it definitely changed my perspective in feeling more comfortable writing with new people. Cause yeah, I mean, this song feels like exactly who I am sonically, which is bizarre. And it's like one of my favorite songs to play live. And then I ended up recording it with my usual people. Rob Nagelhout is who I work with, I would say mostly. So him and Brian co-produced it. I tracked vocals with Cooper Carr. He's been doing a lot of my vocal engineering and vocal producing lately. And then we kept a lot of the stuff that Brian had initially put on the demo. And then my buddy Sebastian Bentley ripped the guitar solo on it. And then I had John Greenham, I believe I'm saying that right, master it, that was the first time too. I had really kind of worked with a different mastering engineer. So it was cool. That song really, I kind of did a lot of things I don't normally do. Oh, and Brandon Combs tracked live drums. That was one of the first songs that we started putting live drums on as well. So it was kind of just all the way around, like it's okay to step out of your comfort zone.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. That's kind of what music is in general, like to kind of push boundaries and to like, change perspectives and do things differently. Because then you get like some really cool, like just art and music and things like that. And what I really like about the process is when you're talking about like there wasn't any egos, that was just making the best song possible. I think that is really cool, and that like everyone was there to make the best song possible, not to have like, oh, I want my idea here or I want to do this. It was for the song, and I think that is really cool.
Totally. And you could feel that as well. Which is the ultimate energy that you want in a session, especially when you're writing for your project.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So since we are talking about songwriting, so a question I've been asking my guests lately. So I'm curious for you, like, do you ever experience like writer's block, and like, how do you overcome that if you do experience it?
Oh my God, yes, definitely. I feel like I get writer's block when I'm happy. Like when I'm happy and things are going great and I'm in love and yeah, when I'm happy. I feel like it's so easy to write music when I'm pissed off or I'm sad or I'm hurt or I'm anxious or I'm angry or feeling some type of way. And I think like the way that I get over writer's block is just by like pushing through it. You know, I used to kind of avoid it and wait until I was inspired to write, or, oh, I'm having writer's block. Like, not today, not tomorrow. I would just like wait until I felt like motivated to write, but that like doesn't ever work. It's just like a muscle, like with anything else. You just have to write through the writer's block, write a couple shitty songs, and then the writer's block will end, and then you'll get, you know, to a song that you're like, okay, yeah, this is cool. But it is the worst, like especially when you're in a session and like the first idea, you spend like 30 minutes diving into it, and then you're like, I don't fucking like this. And then you move into another idea and you're like, well, this is fucking worse. So you're like, let's go back to the first idea, and you're bored by it. So then you do a third idea and you spend like three, like those are the worst sessions because it's like, if a song doesn't feel good in the first 30 minutes to an hour, I usually tend to like shut down and think that it's a bad idea, which is not the best perspective with songwriting. So I end up just like either starting something new or just like pushing through to finish the song and try to force yourself to like decide if you like it or not after it's like complete. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only way through is through.
Yeah, it's well, I'm a writer. I'm a communication major, so like I'm a writer. So like being like obviously different than art. You know, when you're communicating with people in business, it's definitely a different thing. But it's always just like, what do I want to say and what emotions do I want to give out? But like it is very true. Like when I'm like happy and stuff, like you almost care like less in a, you know, to lack of a better term, care less. Like I'm happy, things are going great. I don't really care as much about, you know, whatever's going on. But when you're feeling a certain emotion, then that's like when everything comes out, and that is very true. And I've definitely experienced that. Like if I'm angry or sad or whatever, then you have like an outlet to like give out these emotions.
Yeah, like you have something to say. Like it's so easy to just pour, especially when you're mad. Like that I feel like is the easiest. Or when I'm like irritated or feeling bratty or in like a bitchy mood or whatever, I can fucking write like that. You know, when you're happy, you're like, I don't really have anything to say. Like shit is good. I have nothing to complain about. You know?
Yeah, it's almost like being like when you're content, like you just don't have anything to say, and then that's gonna, I don't know if that's a good or a bad. At least you're happy, but like also you don't have anything to say. So it's kind of, you know, there's pros and cons with everything.
100%.
So, but I did want to kind of transition a little bit. So I have heard you were working on some new music.
Yeah.
So, like, give me hints of like, you know, what is where you are in the process, what is going on, like, what people can expect, all that fun things.
Oh man, I am very excited to say the absolute least about this EP. Where I'm at in the process is scrambling to get it finished on time, but I've finished all the vocals. Rob is finishing up the production right now. We got all the live drums tracked. So it'll be 3 songs that I've already put out this year and then 3 new ones. And I would say the vibe is very much, you know, The End, IDC, and Get Over It are very much like the genre of the EP. But there is one song in particular where I feel like I went back to my like Paramore singy roots. I feel like lately I've been getting really like screamy and yelly and talky and just like that. And this song feels very much like I remembered how fun it is to like belt my face off. So it's like very singy, very Paramore coded, which is like so fun. I'm really excited about that. And then the last song on the EP is kind of like campfirey, kind of like community sing-along type vibe. Gonna do a really stripped down version. We might just release the demo because it feels so good. It feels exactly what I feel like the song wants to be. So we've like retracked this and that, but I feel like we might end up just releasing it as the demo because it's just the vibe of the song. And then the third unreleased song on there is so fun and cunty and kind of like my opinion and take on a piece of LA society that I fucking hate. It feels very like Offspring coded. Yeah, I'm excited. That's going to come out at the end of September or mid-October. And I still need to find a name for it. I still need to take the artwork photo for it, but the music part is done. And that is the most exciting part for me.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I have really liked the direction, of like the latest singles. So I'm definitely very excited to check out the EP when it is released. But also, I mean, at least you got like the main portion done. Now it's just like the aesthetic part. So do you have any names kind of, any front runners for names, or are you still just like working on that?
I honestly don't know. I have like some of the ideas that I have for the title have to do with like the South Bay, like kind of like a location energy. It does feel like recently I've been realizing that my sound musically is very West Coast, like very West Coast, very South Bay. I mean, but also Orange County. I just feel like SoCal in general. So there's an idea of naming the EP something to do with that, like something SoCal, something West Coast, but I don't know. I think I might listen down when everything is mixed and kind of just make like a game time decision. Whatever just like comes right away and feels like I'm not thinking too hard about it. We'll see. This is kind of the first time where I don't really know what I want the visuals to look like. I'm like a very visual artist. And so this is like really bizarre that I don't quite know right now in this moment what I want the artwork to look like, what I want the lettering to look like, what I want it to be called. Like that's a very weird thing for me to not be clear on. So I kind of have to, I think, spend some more time with it and see what kind of just like pops up naturally.
Oh, for sure. I know you will come up with something, obviously, obviously before it's released because you have to, but or just go with the untitled.
Yeah, right. When in doubt, just blank.
But no, I'm very excited because, as I said, I really like the new, kind of the direction the band is heading with everything. IDC is my favorite so far, so I'm excited to see like just how everything progresses for you going forward. Obviously, even past the EP when it's released as well.
Thank you.
But I did want to come back to the performance side. So I'm curious for you, since we talked a lot about songwriting, but I'm curious, do you approach like performing live differently than recording music?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like when I perform live, I have a very like strict regimen to protect my body and my voice versus when I track in the studio, it's like I don't really do much preparation for that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I tend to like to track vocals the day we write the song because I feel like the emotion is there, the energy is there. I'm not like a huge fan of going back and retracking stuff. But I find like I track the best when I'm like tired or hungover or kind of just like under prepared for the session. I have a tendency to listen to demos to death and then give myself demoitis. So like anything new or thought out or planned feels that way to me. And I tend to steer away from that. So yeah, I definitely approach tracking vocals and performing live. I've never been asked that question. And I don't think I've ever realized that. But yeah, like polar opposites. When I have a show, like I won't drink or smoke for weeks leading up to that. I'm exercising more than I would without a show. I clean up my diet big time. I try and get as much sleep as I can every night. Kind of like my whole world changes when I have a show coming up. But for the studio, it's just kind of like, I just kind of fucking do it. I don't know. I don't think twice about it.
No, I got you. It's a unique question. That's why I ask. 'Cause I'm curious for people because I think it's very two kind of different things,
Yeah.
really. And especially with the live performance, you want to be like have the energy for it. You have to be able to perform, and that's a very physical thing, especially in front of a bunch of people compared to a studio where it's like you, producer, and maybe a few other people. So it's like it's a very different thing. But to your point, like for at least for me, if I know like either I'm not feeling well or like something's going on, I give like even like more effort to do something correctly because I know that I'm not 100%. So I definitely feel that.
Right. It's kind of bizarre. Like, I think I also like the unpredictable, gritty sound that comes when I'm not training in the studio versus for a live show. There's, like you said, so many other factors that like I do not want any part of the live show to be unpredictable, with the exception of like live instruments. Like Rob and I, he plays bass in my band, does pretty much all the producing, and is also my best friend. Him and I talk about this often because we don't play with tracks or Melodyne or anything like that. It's just like the raw vocals and the instruments, like period. And there's a level of unpredictability that I think is exciting in the live show. So I guess there is a massive amount of unpredictability, but with my voice, no, I need to be able to count on it. It's like, that is, I don't want to say like it's comparable to being like an athlete, but it's like the voice along with the physicality of performing in the way that I do, like my shit has to be fucking on.
Well, for sure. And also the thing about it was so live shows should be a fun, like unpredictable experience for people. But like when you record, like that's the only version people are going to listen to. So like it has to be on point. And like so the live show could be a lot more fun and there could be like unpredictability because it's going to change obviously from venue to venue, show to show, crowd to crowd, all of that stuff. It's going to change. With the recording, it will not change.
Right.
Last kind of performance-based question, then we will be wrapping this interview up here pretty soon. But I'm curious for you, what is your favorite song to perform live in the set?
Oh, man. I think probably IDC. It's so fun. I feel like that song like thrives on the energy of the audience for sure. I would say that's my favorite song. And also to perform, probably I Don't Want to Talk to You would be my second favorite. But yeah, IDC for sure. We stick it right at the end and it's just like, I mean, I feel like I think the whole song is like 4 chords. So for the band, it's like a chill, relaxed moment. For me, I'm just kind of like talking and screaming and running around. So like, yeah, for sure, IDC.
So how's the crowd reaction to IDC?
They love it. Like I started playing that song before it came, like months before it came out, just to like see what the reaction was. And I've never had so many people come up to me after shows and ask about a particular song in the set, like ever. And the first time, I think I played, I don't know, 5 or 6 shows where I played IDC before it was out. And every single time people would come up to me and ask me about that song.
Nice. That is cool.
Yeah. I've never had that reaction before, especially with a song that is unreleased. But I don't know. I think people really can like relate to that, like rebellious, like release that the song gives, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I think so. For sure. For sure. Yeah. Also, it's a banger too.
Thank you.
All right. So now as we close this interview out, so like what, we're in August heading into September. So like what's kind of the rest of the year looking like for MEGG?
The rest of the year is shows. I've got, I'm playing October 4th at the East Room in Nashville, October 10th at Harvard and Stone in LA, October 29th at Dark Matter in Nashville, November 26th at St. Rock in Hermosa Beach in California. And then I'm actually going to be hopping on a run of shows with Crooked Teeth, my friend's band, as kind of their like, I'll be helping with vocals. And so I think we're playing a couple shows in LA and then a couple shows in Arizona from October 11th to 16th. So that'll be really fun. Opening for The Used and Let Live, I believe, and Beauty School Dropout and The Rocket Summer, I think. This is all very new. So I'm also doing a couple features with some of my friends' bands as well. And then dropping the EP. And then maybe doing some Christmas music. I always release Christmas music come December. So I might do that again as well. And then just planning some tours and stuff in the new year.
Well, very exciting plans, some killer shows coming up for the fall. So I hope everything goes well for you with everything, because those are some awesome plans.
Thank you. I'm excited.
So for everyone watching, where are the best places to find Meg online?
Probably Instagram, I would say, is where you get the most information. That is at MEGG Music, at MEGGMUSIC. Also the website, meggmusic.com, if people still even use websites. I have all my shit up there all the time. You can find me on TikTok, same thing, MEGG Music, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, official MEGG Music. You know, all the normal places.
Well, very good. I will make it even easier. I will leave some links for Meg in the description of this podcast. Please check out and support the band. But Meg, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio. It was awesome to chat with you.
Thanks for having me, Matt. It was so fun.
Of course. That's what I go for. So for Meg, I'm your host always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.